This is Entrepreneurs Get Visible, the podcast for people who want more impact, influence, and income. I'm Anna Parker-Naples, and I'll be sharing with you proven methods from leading entrepreneurs that help you get visible as an authority in your field. Because anything's possible when you get visible. In today's episode of Entrepreneurs Get Visible, I want to talk quite openly and honestly about how coronavirus is affecting me and my work situation, affecting my mindset and my productivity, because I think it's important that we address what's going on for us. And I want to, through sharing what's going on for me, help allay any fears that you might have about what you're managing to do or not do for your business in terms of getting yourself out there and being visible. I'm also doing this podcast episode as a Facebook Live video. Today, I want to come on and talk about coronavirus and how it's affecting working from home. Now, for many online business owners, many entrepreneurs, we're quite used to being in our homes. But there's still an impact to what's going on now that we're in lockdown in the UK. The reality for me is that I have my children at home. My husband is now working from home full time as well. We have very little distance from each other. We are on top of each other a lot of the time. And we went into isolation 2 weeks before lockdown started. And in many ways, I feel as though I've gone through an accelerated version of grief, acceptance, loss, frustration, anger, relief, humour about the entire situation a couple of weeks before many people have started to have to embrace being at home and on lockdown. Now, I feel as though I've gone through these waves of emotion, these waves of different levels of acceptance. And at some moments, I felt that I'm not coping with the change and that that's absolutely okay. Before all of this started, just as we were really becoming aware that coronavirus was something that we needed to be aware of, that was going to come to us, but we didn't really know what that meant and what that looked like, I was really struggling, I suppose, with a level of burnout, a level of having been overdoing it for way too long. And I know my parents are watching at the moment and they tell me very often, their little catchphrase is, Anna, you're doing too much. And I don't listen, I don't heed because I find it exciting and my work helps me feel full of adrenaline and I love that. But I get to a point where I have to stop. And I guess in some respects, this has enabled me to stop for longer. And I feel now, 4 weeks on from that feeling that I just had to stop, and then having this enforced way of stopping, it's actually allowed me to let go of parts of my business that I was feeling very much on a treadmill over. So things like constantly creating content, things like showing up on Facebook Lives every day, even if I didn't want to, because that's part of the nature of my business. And allowing myself to step away actually now means that I've healed myself and I feel much more ready. I've got my energy back together and I'm ready. I've tapped in again to what this work means to me, why it's important to me to show up, and how I want to do that in light of what's going on in the world around us. So other fears that I am encountering, that I'm hearing from my clients and online, is a fear about being invisible. How do you show up online and market your business online, which is the space that for many of us, that's where all of our activity happens to attract our clients and then to convert our clients. How can you do that tastefully? How can you do that without feeling icky, without feeling uncomfortable, without coming across as though you are capitalizing on this disaster? And I think there is a bit of a line. However, if you don't show up at all over the next few months, they're now talking 3 to 6 months. If you now don't show up for that period, you won't have a business to come back to. But the people who are showing up in whatever way that they can, when they feel able to, are still present for their audience, are still present for those people who might want to work with them in the future. Now, I'm going to hold my hand up here and say that I had to have some time away. I couldn't show up in the way that I used to because I was resting and I had to heal and I had to overcome whatever mental blocks and mental hurdles I was experiencing, and some physical hurdles as well. I had some early stage signs that potentially I had coronavirus. I don't now know if I did or I didn't. But coming to terms with that and actually having the children at home, I've just had to step away to just deal with it all. So my first piece of advice really would be, if you don't feel ready yet, then let yourself have that rest. Let yourself take this time. Let yourself have that space. And go back into why you're doing your work. Why does it matter? And very much for me, my work is important, yes, because I want income from my family and I want to have the lifestyle that we want to have. But I also want to show up in the world to help other people get their message out there, for other people to shine, for other people to feel like they are capable of doing whatever it is they want to they want to be capable of doing, and to reach the level of success. But I was aware I couldn't fill from an empty cup. I had to be in the right state of mind for that. So if you need to step away and you're looking for permission, I am going to give it to you. Allow yourself to take this time. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to reflect on what your work means to you. And then when you're ready, come back. So now I feel much more able to get into it all. And actually, the way I'm kicking back for myself is I have a visibility checklist, which if you listen to this podcast often enough, you will know that I'll be mentioning it from time to time. I am going back to basics with ticking off every day the activities that I do, because I'm finding it harder and harder with the children at home to show up in any way whatsoever. So if you want to get a copy of that checklist, then the link is at the end of this show in the outro. But I'm starting off again, starting from scratch, making sure I'm putting out content that is relevant, that is pertinent to what the business I'm building, but that also is sensitive and acclimatized to what we're all going through. You can't plough on as though this isn't happening. You have to shift. You have to. The other thing I'm seeing is real fear and anxiety that people are experiencing. And that's understandable. This has never happened before to anyone alive on this planet. Nobody has had this level of fear and anxiety around such a great unknown hitting the whole world. So it's okay that you need to deal with that. It's okay that you need to step back a little bit. The other thing is people becoming acutely aware of their finances. And that, I know people are in all sorts of different situations, but the fact that people are having to look very closely at what they spend, very closely at what food they're eating, is not a bad thing. That level of awareness of your finances is absolutely brilliant. So that's going to put you in good stead. That is going to give you a better awareness that's going to help you build your business long term. I personally think it's okay to sell. It's okay to be marketing yourself as long as you do it tastefully and respectfully. You do not want your business to completely tank by the end of this, unless, and this is a big unless there is a part of you that has known you're unhappy doing the business you're doing. If there's a part of you that actually this isn't what you want, maybe it's okay to give yourself permission to step back for a while. And I've had several clients and friends talking to me about this, that actually they're going to use this as an opportunity to work out what's next. So if you can do that, brilliant, do it for you. Think about how you can use this time. Now, I'm not one of those people who thinks we've all suddenly got swathes of time. I think I have less time. I might not be doing the school run. I might not be taking the children to clubs in the evenings, but they need my attention throughout the day. But the pockets of time that I do have, how can I create something? And I'm going to do a whole episode on this for Entrepreneurs Get Visible podcast later that will come out in a couple of weeks. How can you use your time so that you are making something that is going to be of use to your current business or the business that you want to develop? And watch out for the episode on that one. So if you know you're going through a period where you have to accept what's going on, that's okay. Breathe. Let it happen. Let yourself come to terms with whatever we're going through. And none of us know what the outcomes are going to be. None of us know. But just let yourself have some downtime and come back when you're ready. Be visible when you're ready. Let yourself fill your cup up again. Have that downtime, have that space, and show up when you can. So they're my top tips today on how to survive coronavirus. It really is an interesting time, and I think this one's going down in the history books, isn't it? And the more that we express what we're going through, the more we let people in on that journey, the better we're going to be connected. And that's only going to help our businesses long term. Our businesses are attracting people and letting them in, showing some of our vulnerability. And what better time to start telling the story that you're actually living through? So that's it from me on Entrepreneurs Get Visible. I would love to hear how you are surviving the early stages of the coronavirus lockdown and what's going on for you in your business. Over the next few weeks on a Thursday, I will be talking about how to cope with what's going on right now, how to prepare for what's coming afterwards, and how to prepare for what happens when we come out of lockdown and what that can mean for your business. So I hope you found this episode interesting. I hope it's resonated in some way, and get in touch to let me know what's going on for you. Thank you for listening to Entrepreneurs Get Visible. To get your free checklist on how to raise your profile and to find out about our community, go to annaparkernaples.co.uk/get visible.